All right, there's the old man here. Time for another much needed rant. Uh, I have a new saying which I think everybody needs to put into motion, and that is woke is broke. Because that is essentially what is happening in our country right now with all this advancement in wokeism. Our country is splitting at the seams. I mean, all the other countries in the world are laughing at us. We're supposed to be the great United States of America, and we get people who are just going totally ballistic. Example of this is on May 20th of this year, on the floor of the Nebraska state legislature, uh, Senator, a lady by the name of Mrs. Kavanaugh, or Ms. Kavanaugh, I'm not sure which it was, but who basically, for her time on the floor, began a chant which was, "We need trans people, we love trans people belong here." And that's all she said over and over and over again. There was no discussion. She was just going on a ballistic rant. Uh, Now, I know some trans people, I know some gay people, and they do not act like any of the stuff that we are currently seeing right now. There's one of the big movements which started was the drag queen story hour, in which drag queens are reading to kids, and it's not just reading. Some of them are dressed provocatively, they're dancing and doing all kinds of weird stuff. But yet when these same libraries are hosting Christian events, they're disrupting them so that they cannot do what they're there to do. And it's the wokeness of this left movement that's causing them to do this. There was, very interesting enough, a professional drag queen, which I saw a video of, who actually said that drag queens should not be performing for children. This drag queen said that it's not that it's not that you should wonder why children are going to see drag queens. The question is why drag queens want to see children. And this is coming from a drag queen. The whole LGBTQ, XYZ, NMLP movement in the schools, which they're doing right now. I see video after video from school board meetings from this group called the Grassroots Army, which I recommend to everybody if you can see what's going on. So you look for yourself. And it's not just parents, but former educators and even students who are finding books in libraries which are basically pornographic material. And this stuff should not be there. And yet the school board does nothing. Now, I don't know if this is happening in my area or not. I just know what I see from around the country. And there's actually a group which is standing up, which is a gay group. It's called Gays for Groomers. Or I should say Gays Against Groomers, who are actually against this indoctrination that the schools are doing. So it's not just heterosexuals who are against this. You have people in the homosexual community who are against this. There's actually a comparison I wanted to make between the homosexual community and the black community. And before you get up in arms, I want you to listen. The whole thing over Black History Month. Morley Safer did an interview Morgan Safers did an interview with Morgan Freeman, and he asked him what he thought about Black History Month, and he says, I don't agree with it. And with that, he asked Morgan Safers, do you want a White History Month? He said, no, I'm actually Jewish. He said, well, you want Jewish History Month? He goes, no. He says, well, neither do I. It's just history. Just teach it. You're going to just delegate my history to a month? Well, now you got the same thing going on with Pride Month, where there was a member of the gay community who said, do not lump me into your community. I do not want to be part of this community. I'm just a regular guy. I mean, my preferences might be different than yours, but I'm just a regular guy. I don't need to be lumped into this, and I don't agree with what the whole pride stuff does, because you get people, they get out there and they're skimpily dressed, and some of them are dressed as dogs, and I mean, it's really weird. And there's actually a thing where the parents, they took their kids to this Pride festival, which I think is confusing enough for adults, but bringing kids to this, it's not right. And this little girl was petting this grown man in a dog costume. And it wasn't a full costume. It was like the head and a bunch of leather. And it's like, it's really, and this is what you want to represent yourself with? It's like you have other people, other gay men and women who are saying, no, we're not part of your community. Don't put this out here for kids. But yet you got big business who is doing it for, first they did the Dale and Mulvaney thing with Bud Light, and you see how that's going for them. And then Target's did the same thing, and it's causing a major backlash because your average person does not want to see this stuff. If you want to sell that stuff, sell it online. Don't put it out there in front of kids. There was a thing a while back which said that children at the age of 3 should be able to tell what gender they are. If they're lucky, they might be potty trained by their 3. They can't dress themselves. And you want to make big decisions about their gender? I grew up in a time there was 2. There was male and female. And that was it. And now you got people calling each other, males calling each other she, he, and girls calling each other he, or whatever, and then there's they, them, and they make up some other non-binary pronouns. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. As Mr. Rogers said, he had a little song which he did, which I'm not going to sing, thank goodness. But if you were born a boy, you're going to stay a boy. If you were born a girl, you're going to stay a girl. That's not going to change. We as the American people are tired of the leftist woke agenda shoving this down our throats. I have said for years that when it came to the 2 main political parties, we are on the same side. We are all Americans. The main difference is that the Republican Party wants less government in their citizens' lives. They can run their lives. The government will take care of the big stuff. But the Democrats, they want more involvement, which means they want more control over how you do your life. And now you got in schools where they are secretly grooming kids to transition and not telling the parents. And so kid comes home, and next thing you know, they're telling the parent, well, my name's not Jeffrey anymore, it's Joanna. It's like, wait a minute, how long has this been going on? Well, it's been over a year. My teacher's been helping me. And it's not the job of educators to throw your politics or your religion down a kid's throat. You're supposed to teach them reading, math, and arithmetic, science, art, music, whatever. All this other stuff, it's up to the parents. And if the parent is not able to, then maybe go to somebody else. But it's not an educator's job, it's not the school board's job to force an agenda on these people. Kind of things the Nazis used to do. I saw a video from the Grassroots Army where this former school teacher, and you could tell she wasn't from here originally because you could tell from her accent, and she said she was a retired educator. And the school board was calling the parents, comparing them with Nazis if they were against the LGBTQ agenda. And this retired educator let them have it and said, do you even know what Nazis were? The Nazis actually trained young children to spy on their parents. And so did the Russians under Stalin, and so did the Chinese. It's time to really wake up, America, and put this woke business behind us. If we want to really pull together as a country, we need to stop it now. Let these people in government know that they work for us. We put them in power, we can take them out. God bless.